Good afternoon, friends. Are we here? Can you see me? Sorry, I don't know if on my end it's I'm getting some weird errors today. There we go. Okay, good. All right. Hello. Hi, Stuart, Warren, Matthew, Morton, Howell, Haith, Saram, Matt, Connor, Marco, Naveen, Magu, Mark, Amy, Riley, Sir Bossman, IR, everybody. Good to see you. Vlado, let's go. How we doing? How we doing today? Oh yeah, no, I've read everything so far. I've read everything so far. All right. Am I in the U.S.? Yeah. Oh yeah, big. I'm just let's wait on the Mentato because I saw the news of everybody traveling. Um, he's supposed to go, according to some people who know. So I guess we'll find out soon. On that because he should. It'd be very strange if he doesn't, considering the players who are going. Um, he's supposed to anyway. Will you be in New Jersey? No, I'll be in Chicago. I'm not gonna go to the other games though in the rest of the states. Um, we'll see. We'll see. How do you get a Muppeteers logo next to the game? Well, really good question. What you do is below the video, there's a button that says, what does it say, guys? You tell me, because I actually don't know. It says to join, and then you kind of join, and then like that's it. Um, you click join, yeah, right below next to the thing, and then you can become a member of the Muppeteers. So it is what it is. Um, but yeah, no, they released their official list, and and Mentato's not on it. But I'm a little confused. But we'll see about that. All right. We'll see what changes very short time. I will make a video with the guys on Paddock. I will make a video with the guys on the View in person. We'll be doing plenty of things this summer. Don't you worry about that. Obviously, the first thing I actually wanted to discuss today was the game a little bit because like I feel like it's worth discussing. Hang on. There you go. Because like what the hell, guys? Let me just refresh this really quick. Like what happened? What happened? Where was this? Where was this on Wednesday? Where was this previously? Where was this? Where were you when we needed you with this performance? What happened? It's mind-blowing. And I said in the pre-match that what did they want to do? Ruben Amorim wanted to put the same team out there that played in the final and have them show for it what they can do and show better than what they did in the final. And they came out and it was like, what the hell, man? You know? What the hell? I mean, look, there was the same issues as ever that we'll talk about. But this was an absolutely dominant performance from the team from start to finish. However, what I will say is it's the same thing as ever. We should have scored 2-3 goals before our first even happened. We should have scored a couple of goals before the red card. This should have been a blowout of epic proportions, but this guy cannot fucking score a goal. He cannot score a goal. And Mason Mount can't either. Mason Mount was better today, performance-wise, but he just can't put it in the net. He had plenty of really good chances to put it in the net. These guys don't score. And Ahmad, once again, once he moved out wide to the right wing back position in the second half, instant double on his influence on the game. Once we subbed Dowlow off, Ahmad moved out wide, instantly doubled his impact on the game from the wide areas. So, it's like, one, Ruben, next year, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up. Stop putting Ahmad at the 10. Stop putting Ahmad at the 10. Okay? Put him out wide. First of all, but I think he will, because we'll get to that, because we're looking to sign 3 forwards, like I've been saying for 2 weeks now. We want 3 forwards. We want 3 forwards, 3 forwards, 3 forwards, 3 forwards, 3 forwards, and it's being confirmed kind of left and right. So the other thing I noticed, this looks crappy now from the substitutions, which is kind of frustrating, but I had a picture. Let me find the picture. Hold on a second. Let me find the picture, because I posted it at halftime because I was really happy. I was really, really happy with how it looked mid-game. It wasn't even actually mid-game, but this is it. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me make sure I do this right. This right here. This is how it is supposed to look. This is how it's supposed to be in attack. 3-1-6, 3-2-5. The same as any top team. You need to get box occupation. You need numbers. The first time we've seen these wing backs show the bravery that they should be showing, where your midfield is staggered, where your wing backs are getting forward and interplaying with the number 10s. This is what it's supposed to look like, and your extra midfielders joining the attack. It's not supposed to be so defensive. Lewis, welcome to the Pro Muppet. Thanks for joining, buddy. Appreciate that. This is what it's supposed to look like. You're supposed to have your right wing backs interplay with the 10s. You're supposed to have that because they're supposed to be wingers. And then you're supposed to get those runners going through there. The 10s were running into the channels all game. Mount was receiving the ball in the channels. Ahmad and Mazraoui receiving it in the channels. The movements, everything was the way you wanted it to be. And it worked. You could see the box occupation. You could see everybody moving where they were supposed to. You could see the movement around the box. You could see the attacks, the angles. We were creating chance after chance after chance after chance for the 10s and the forwards. And it was not all running through Bruno. That's one other thing I want to make as an important point that I think is really necessary to analyze. It was not all running through Bruno in the first half when it was all working, which is not, it shouldn't be. It's supposed to run from the wide areas into the middle, out wide, in, out then in, out then in. And it was doing that. And then it worked. And then when we got to 10 men, finally, we could get the breakthrough from Ahmad making a crashing run at right wing back. The crosses were there, the cutbacks were there. The positions, this is right wing back. Look at how high up Mazraoui is. Mazraoui has not been this high in his life. I know that because he's someone who doesn't drink or use substances as well. He has not been this high in his entire life. Look at how high up he was. This is a wingback playing wingback, finally. Patrick Dorgu, I thought, was really good again. Look at this. This is a winger. This is basically a winger. This could have been, Garnacho's heat map for many games. Dorgu here. This is what you want. This is where you're supposed to be. And it was working. It was working. No, Hoyland would not have scored if Martinez didn't take him down, unfortunately. This is where you're supposed to be. The shit that happens when there is no pressure. I know, I know, I know, I know. Um, Anonymous Mango, sorry for being late, Yokerish. We'll talk about Yokerish in a minute. Yeah, I think Dorgu was really solid. But I'm so I was actually really angry during the game for a large part because I was like, where were you guys, man? When we needed you, where were you? Maz was there when he played as a 10. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Where were these guys, man? Where was this performance from so many of these players when it mattered? That's really disappointing to me. But that's kind of where I'm sitting there going, maybe we do blow it up. Maybe we do, because I feel like it's tainted. I feel like this club, the locker room, I feel like the personnel, like the people involved are just, they're tainted. You know what I mean? Like they can't do it. Stuart, 10 memberships. Joe Shepard, Band of Boys, Ronnie, Leo, Connor, M.A. No, Warren, M.A. Thank you. First, Mirko, Sammy Ball. Hey, Sammy, one ball. Hey, that's my guy. Jonathan Ball. Hey, look, there's a second ball for you, Sammy. Thank you, Stuart. As always, you're amazing, man. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, it's really like, um, it's really, it's frustrating. But I do feel as though you look in the dressing room and you think it's people who they don't have it in them. They just don't have it in them. I don't know what the deal is. Um, but I really do worry that, you know, I don't know, man. There's something wrong, and I think it's hard to move um forward with some of these players. I was really impressed with Aiden Heaven as well, by the way. Top, top player. Really impressed with him again. He's so good. His body shape, the way that he defends, the way that he pushes players off the ball without fouling. Absolutely, you can see it. The pace to get back, the coverage, the legs. Aiden Heaven is the total package as a center back. I am so impressed with him, and I can see why um, we haven't seen like a huge push for a center back as of yet. Scott Harrison, James, there's an issue with your join button. For example, the button is not visible on other channels' homepage. I'll check that out. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's my location though. Maybe that matters. I really don't know. Hello from London. Um, just remembered Emran's first summer I shipped out 17 players. He looks amazing for the type of money, that he is. Um, it is really really special to see that. You don't really, that is a steal and a half of a player. You can see it. He's played in the Premier League now, and it's like great, and he's fine. I think it was a pretty much a pre-planned substitution anyway. He went down, came off, sprinted back on, played, continued. He'll be fine. He's only had one injury, guys. He's not injury prone. He's had one injury that he had to work back from because he had some, like, just it just didn't fully. Ankles can be tricky. Ankles can be tricky. You got to be careful with them. I think the rest after the, for the next 4 or 6 weeks will do well for him. You're in the U.S. as well. I'll check it out, Scott, but I truly have no idea, to be honest. May depend on the browser. I actually have no idea if you're using a VPN or something. I don't know. But no, I was upset. And the other thing is that I would say is that, like, when you look at it, it was nice to see Eriksson get a penalty as a send off. Dallo got 26 minutes. That's all good. I thought Cheeto was, in there. But the other thing that bothers me, exactly, we have some base of this team for 5+ years, except the Bruno money, rebuild 6 players for the 11. We could have similar next year. I agree. I also agree, Lewis. We took too many random shots. I totally agree with that. But this is my thing that I've been saying for a while now that I truly believe. I watch us play Chelsea. I'm not impressed. I watch us play City. We go toe-to-toe with them. I watch us play Arsenal. We go toe-to-toe with them. I watch us go into Anfield. We go toe-to-toe with them. Newcastle ran all over us, to be fair. We started Eriksson in the midfield. It was just a disaster, right? We play Aston Villa. We win. We play Forest. We should have won. We play Brighton. I think we got spanked by Brighton. We play Bournemouth. I think we should have won that game as well. We drew, right? Um, we play Brentford. We come back. I just look at it and I think we actually looked better against a lot of these teams in the last few months the last time we played them than worse. You know what I mean? I thought we looked good against most of those teams. Really outside of Newcastle, because Newcastle just destroyed us. We looked good against Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Aston Villa. Like in many cases you could argue we were the better side in those games, couldn't you? I think we should have beaten Arsenal. It was David Raya had an insane performance. Man City, we should have won that game. Chelsea, they were nothing special at all, like at all. You know, we had, yeah, we did have higher XG in most of those. Outside of Newcastle, I really don't think we were that much worse. But my point is not to cope and say, oh, well, then we're good enough. My point on it is that, we, there's not that much gap between all of these clubs. There's just not that much gap between them. We're not better than them because we can't get the job done. Even if it's just because of a striker, even if it's just because of a goalkeeper, it doesn't matter. They're still part of the team. In the Arsenal game, David Raya saved their ass, and ours didn't. We didn't make good saves. You know what I mean? So that's still our players. So we don't deserve it. Another positive is our half record goes on. Yes, it does, Dwayne. Good point. So it doesn't mean we're better than them because it means our striker's worse, our goalkeeper's worse, but we're not that much worse. I know the gap is 30 points. Well, it's not 30 points, it's 20 points. But it's sort of like how many one-goal games, how many draws, how many close, things in there were there that led to that situation. It's just crazy. Who gifted me a second ball? Thank you. There you go. With the right 5 or 6 pieces, we should be top 6 or close. A striker 10s. Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. But again, it's not that we're better than them, but I don't think the gap is that big. Kieran, welcome to the Pro Muppet. I just don't. I really don't think the gap is that big between all of these teams because whenever we go head to head, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Obviously, over the course of the season, a lot of them are able to sustain things in a better way than we are, and that's a problem. That's about squad depth and things like that. But with a game a week next year, all of our focus on the league every single week, then we'll see. Exclusive semi-ball merch coming hopefully soon. I would like us to get to 65 points to 70 points next year. Yeah. These guys did this in one season as well, from like 17th or whatever. But yeah, I would like to. So it's an interesting one. I think that what you saw today is a big middle finger to the idea that this system can't produce chances, that the system can't be attacking, that the system cannot control games, that the system cannot create sustainable chances, that it's long ball only, that it's individual brilliance only, or things like that. We created so many good chances in this game that were all really quite ordinary, sustainable, somewhat boring chances, cutbacks, crosses, the things you want to do all the time. It's about personnel. It's about performance. You've got to have athletes at the back that pick up when someone runs on the break and they get through the initial press. You need these wingbacks to be very brave, to get high up the pitch to win it quickly. You need the press organization to be right so that you can counter press and sustain your attacks. I hate possession systems because if you don't score, keeping the ball don't matter after, just like going unbeaten and not winning the final. Agreed. So I don't think that it particularly matters. I think that it's up to the players to perform. We need them to perform. We need them to do the business for this system to work. We just have to. And we need a better keeper. We got a little lucky, cuz what's crazy, right? Let's be honest for 1 second. Right here, even though we should have been winning this game, Villa very easily could have had a goal, and it could have been 1-0 at that point with the mistake by India. I go back and forth a little bit because technically the ball was between his hands, but you can't really complain if that had been a goal for Aston Villa, even though we've had tons of chances up to there. You know, you can't really complain. It was like we could have been losing this. This could have been easily another 1-0 loss. Easily. Because we couldn't take our chances and we made a mistake at the back. It's the same story every single game. We got a little lucky this time. It's a goal, right? You guys think it's a goal? Like let's poll that real quick. What do you guys think? Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was doing, but I think it's a goal. He kind of had his hands on it, but I think it was a goal. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot see a world where that isn't a goal. I know technically not a goal, but it seems like a bad call. Like if they hadn't blown the whistle, VAR would have turned it over. Like he had his hands around it, which is technically the rule if it's two hands on it, but he didn't have control. Yeah, he lost control of the ball. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so most people think it was a goal. So I agree with you, and I think that what's scary about that is that point being, um, the point being is that we could have very easily been down 1-0 despite performing way better. And then what would the narrative be? Oh, this fucking system, this fucking thing doesn't work. We can't create chances. We can't score goals. You can't coach a win in the Premier League. Down against 10 men, concede, you know? But come on, you know what I mean? Like, come on. This is the reality. Um, this is the reality. So, this is the reality. This is the point being we need a keeper because that mistake could have cost us. But this is what has happened so many times this season. Missing chances up front and mistakes like that out the back. And you can't survive that kind of shit. Alvaro to Madrid for 50 million over a matter of time. Well, they just finished their thing. But let's take a look at something here. This is the table for the league for the year. Based on XG, we had a higher chances created by a fairly significant number than Nottingham Forest. Look at this. We created almost 4.5 more expected goals, but we scored 14 fewer expected goals. Not amazing, but obviously not as bad as our record would indicate on the season. And we need to do a lot better. I'm kind of interested if you go from like here, what does it look like? Yeah, I mean, if you go from here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you go from here, we've earned 5 points during this period, but created the 10th most chances. And defensively, we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You realize how crazy that is? Since March 18th, we conceded the 8th fewest chances and we had the 8th worst defense, 8th best defense because we're in the top 10, and the 10th best chance creation, and we got 5 points. 17th, 18th most points. So during this period, we should have been like 8th or 9th in that period with the same squad, and we finished and we got 18th in our points during this period of time. That's wild, man. That's absolutely wild. To me, that is absolutely crazy. Just how badly we've underperformed during this period of time. Look, we have a positive goal differential on expected, and we have -7. -7. And we lose a final the same way. Our expected points was 14. Well, there's the best way to look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our expected points was 14. Our expected points was 8th, and we got 18th. during that period of time. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. It's just crazy. We lost the final because we couldn't break down Spurs. Yeah, I mean, and they kind of knew it, but we can't score. We can't score. Creating once we're already down doesn't mean it's not true. It's just it is what it is. Oh, I know. There was a point, like, what, 65 minutes. Amram looks so pissed. He kicks the water bottle. He's so upset about it. Like, it's wild. It's wild. But I gotta say this about it, like the whole thing. This is my view on it. All right. Um, and then we'll talk about some transfers. We'll talk about some news. We'll talk about things like that are going on. Um, a second, I apologize. Just anyway, what was I gonna say? This is my view in general. Okay, here's where I'm at. Scott Harrison, welcome to the Pro Muppet. Appreciate you. Um, there's enough to me evidence across multiple games, especially big games, big performances. Liverpool at Anfield, some of those games like that. This one to end the season. There's enough evidence to me that the system can work, that it can compete in big games, away to Bilbao, away, Lyon, all of these games, that the system can work, can create chances. How good it can be, we don't know. Where it will be, where it will end up, we don't know. But what we do know is that we need a major reset at United. We need a major reset at United in terms of the squad. When you're talking about culture, you're talking about players who shouldn't be here, players who need to leave, players who need to change what they're doing, all of that. You talk about playing in a final and putting in stinkers and then going into the final day against a team that's trying to get Champions League and performing extremely well. Because you cannot know whether a system is going to make it or not, but it doesn't matter. You don't know if the coach will make it or not, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter because you need to change the team. You have to change the team. That is inexorable. It has to be done. The team has to be ripped up. It has to be changed at its core. It has to be finished. It has to be fixed. It has to be beaten. It has to be rebuilt. Whether Amarim is a good enough manager at the end to win you titles is not the question at the moment, actually. The question at the moment is who is the right manager to oversee a rebuild of United and to lay down principles. And of that, Ruben Amorim is the right guy. And of that, Ruben Amorim has done it before. And of that, Ruben Amorim has rebuilt a team that hadn't won in 20 years to now become easily the powerhouse in Portugal. There is like he said, 3 games in, he saw it immediately because it's about changing the way so many things are happening. Some of that's changing, just changing players and all that. Some of that is, the way that you do things, but the patterns, the actions, the way that things are done. But his speech is like he said, after 3 games, and I think it was a great speech. But I think because he means it and there's truth. He said that there was going to be storm, and now he says it's going to be the good times are coming. He gets it. He gets it. And he knows what it takes. And one of the biggest factors in this is this matter of, athleticism, of being able to deal with the Premier League. And there is a big focus on Prem Proven, as we can see. We go for, here, let's take a look. We're going for goal scorers. Well, you've got Cunha, the 8th highest goal scorer in the Premier League with 6 assists on the season. We're going for him. Brian Mbumo, number 5 on the list. Number 5 on the list with 20 goals, 7 assists. We're very interested in him. And then you move down the list. All right, Liam Delap, fine. He's 16th on the list in terms of 12 goals. But here's the issue, right? Where do you find your first United player? Let's see. We're on page 2. Any United players? Page 3. Any United players? Page 4. There you go. Bruno Fernandes with 8 goals. 34th. So you're talking about getting, in terms of targets, 2, 3 players who are significantly better than anybody else right now. MT, welcome to the Pro Muppet. Thank you. Significantly better than anyone else that we could get. Anybody else in our team right now. Massive amounts of goals. Even if we went for Jean-Philippe Mateta for striker, by the way, which I'm not against, he's a good player. If we couldn't get Delap or Gyökeres, even if we ended up targeting him, he's still on the first page of goals scored. Like, we're talking about players who are in a different stratosphere to ours. It's embarrassing. You know how many pages you have to go to find our striker? Here we go. Let's see. Page 9, 10. Page 10. 92nd in the league. Our striker with 0 assists. 92nd. You understand that? You understand that there are only, if you just pick the front 3, not even just strikers, there are 91 players better than Rasmus Højlund in terms of goal scoring. It's an embarrassment to this club. Not him. I'm not even trying to say like he's an embarrassment. I'm saying it is an embarrassment that this is what we've ended up with. In a situation where our striker is 92nd in the league in goal scoring. Our striker. I mean, maybe you could, maybe I could filter it. Like, how do I filter this? Is there a way to filter by like, oh yeah, forwards. Let's go. Okay. All right. How close is he to the front or back in terms of forwards? Okay, there's 13 pages of forwards. So he's 29th as far as forwards go. So that means that there's like 60 midfielders who've scored more and defenders who've scored more goals than Rasmus Højlund. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. It's shocking. It's really, really shocking stuff. He's just far out of his depth, you know? I mean, look at the players above him. Atauro with 620 minutes. Oh, it's pretty crazy. Oh, you know what? I'm actually looking. I just realized that it's actually worse than I just did because I was looking at the wrong dates. No. That was just above. Never mind. No, we're good. We're good. But it is crazy. It is crazy. I thought I was looking at the wrong dates. I thought it was even worse, but it's not worse. Look at the minutes of the players below him. These are guys who don't play football. These are part-time footballers. You see that? These are part-time footballers. The closest is Anthony Gordon, but at least he has 6 and 5 assists to go with it. That's 11 versus 4. But below him, it's part-time footballers, basically. It's embarrassing, man. But that's where we are. That's the reality of it. That's why we are where we are in the table. That's why we finished the season where we are in the table. That's the crazy part. It's quite incredible. You said somebody said what did you want me to do? You wanted me to sort it by non-penalty? XG now? I mean, I don't think I can actually, but hell. I mean, let's do. How do we? Let's go 1,200 minutes so we get like some starters in here. Um, XG per 90. Could do that. Oh, you know what? Some people are being classified as midfielders. I just realized that. What is going on with this? What did I do wrong here? Oh, you know what? I just realized why that filter isn't working. It's because it's only considering games that they're classified as a forward when sometimes they're classified as a midfielder. Those three, possibly Okarish, makes a big difference. Agreed, Owen. Agreed. Ruben knows the aura farming tactics. I trust him. Yeah, Dwayne. Exactly. I was like, why does this look weird? Like, what am I missing here? I'm getting it wrong. Something's wrong with that picture. I'm surprised at how high up Mateta is on the XG per 90 table, by the way. Pretty wild. Pretty crazy. Madness. But anyway, there's Ahmad with 8 and 6. That's not bad. So, regardless, I think it makes a big difference. It makes a huge, huge difference. Wissa's really good too. Wissa's doing amazing work over there, isn't he? Incredible stuff. Yeah, look, I mean, look, you can look at people's overperformance and stuff like that, but then, you know, if you look at it by minute, he was improving upon last season's numbers. Is it sustainable at 20? Probably not. Probably not. Is he overperforming a bit? Probably not. But these are really good numbers for what it's worth. Like you're talking 17 goal contributions, 15. Like these are still good numbers. It's not like Mbuma. Like 20 goals is a wild number. If he gets 13 and if he gets 15 to 20 goals and assists, that would be great. That's fine with me, you know. Whether he's overperforming or not is all good. Same goes for Cunha. If you look at Cunha, he's actually, you know, he's overperforming on his goals pretty heavily, but he's actually slightly underperforming on assists. You still have to produce. I don't think they're necessarily like one season wonders. Wissa's actually underproduced, which is pretty crazy that he's been able to do that so much this year. We need power and technique in midfield, not just attackers. I like to see him go after battle, but no, I don't think we'll do that. Is Ederson number one target for the midfield? I think so. I think so. Yeah, good finishers overperform, bad finishers underperform. It's pretty normal. But yeah, look, I mean, regardless, the truth of the matter is, so here's where we're at as of today. All right. Here's where we're at as of now. Oh, look at this whole team. Gotta take the picture for the team. I mean, they're all flying. It's pretty funny. Sorry. Just noticed they post like this big old picture flying to Malaysia. Some of them smiling, a lot of them not smiling. It kind of cracks me up. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting really distracted. If Ahmad can improve his defending, right wing back is his. Yes, I agree. I completely agree. But look, so where are we at today? All right, where are we at today? Number one, they're flying out right now. They're flying right now. So, because they've committed to this tour, look, this is a press and marketing and money tour, okay? That's the reality. It's a tour to go out and see the fans in Asia, wake up at crazy hours to watch the game, who commit to United. You know, it's to do that. Yes, there's money to make. Yes, of course there's money to make. Obviously, it's for the money. But at the same time, it's good to go out there and see the fans, and they've got events. They're doing events in India. Onana, Maguire, Dowlow, I think, are going to India to do something. Like, they're there to represent the club and to help with the fan base. They don't deserve a rest. Who cares? They can sleep on the plane. They'll be fine. This is how you end the season. It's one more week of work, then you go on holiday for a while. Then you come back and train. Not a big deal. They'll be fine. Don't worry about them. A lot of kids there, a lot of people to travel. It's just respecting the fan base, and it makes money. Where we are right now, Cunha is essentially done. We've known this for a long time. Um, we've known this for a while. Basically, agreed all of the terms a week ago. We'll be paying the clause very shortly for him to get done this week. He should be ready to go. That's never been in question. Cunha is going to be joining United for that position on the left 10. The second forward, Delap or Gyökeres. Delap will be, as we knew, before the end of June, basically making his decision on where he wants to go, on who he wants to join. And we'll find out what happens from there. We don't know yet who he's going to inform and all of that. Should he not pick United, obviously, Gyökeres is one we're going to really need to try to do. Uh, Alvaro Carreras, the money that's coming apparently from that is very likely to help us to pay some money, to give us a bit more revenue to buy players. So we will see. But United want to try. That's what I've been saying. They want to try. Gyökeres Sporting just finished their final cup game. Gyökeres scores in the 100th minute, draws a penalty when they're down 1-0, scores in the final minute of the game to get a penalty, to score, to draw it level. Sporting go on to win in extra time. Absolutely amazing. Look, end of the day, this is this is why I said before, like I really truly believe that analysis can just go too far. This is a guy who scores an unbelievable amount of goals. And the thing that you cannot teach in football is I'm trying to think of the word because I've described it so many times. What is the word for it? Maybe it's determination. Maybe it's that mental magic that happens, that players have, where it doesn't really matter. You can analyze them all you want. It doesn't matter. They can have weird fundamentals, they can have weird quirks, they can have all these things, but you cannot teach the determination and just instinct is a part of it, but I think instinct is a very definable skill. It's more than that. Some players just have it. They just make something happen when it's time and when it's needed and when it's needed most. They just get it done. And it is like magic. It's like they just always have it. It's like, it's like Jordan in the playoffs. Like they'll just happens at a certain point, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Gyökeres has that. Nobody scores that kind of goal, those numbers of goals and the situations that he scored in big games and all of that without having it. It's like someone was telling me he had a bad game when he scored a hat trick against Man City. I don't give a shit. He had a hat trick in the Champions League against Man City. It's just there. It just happens. Like I don't care if he plays bad. Clutch, yeah. It's like if a guy can play bad but still manage to get a hat trick in the Champions League at Sporting against Manchester City, then all that tells me is that that's someone who just is gonna make it work. He's just gonna make it happen. Because I'm watching guys have bad games and not score, and I'm watching guys have good games and not score. I just want a guy who puts the ball in the net no matter what. And that is to me where analysis goes too far, because you cannot measure. I'm gonna channel my inner Philip De Bruyne on this. All right, my good friend. They're human beings. They're human beings, James, and you cannot measure human beings that way. There is a drive, a determination, and a mental aspect that you just cannot beat when it's there. And people miss that. People miss that. Um, you have to do it. And it'd be crazy to miss out on a player like him. It would be crazy if we have a chance. If we have a chance. If you have a chance, oh yeah, my accents are absolutely terrible, but it would be crazy to miss it out. Human beings. James. But yeah, Portugal's a good league to buy from too, and it's all good. Um, um, oh man, but yeah, you can't measure certain things. It's called intangibles, right? It's intangibles. We talk about that in sports a lot. We hear about intangibles a lot in the U.S. In America, they always say intangibles, and that you cannot measure the intangibles. There are players who just have it, and there are players who don't. Um, and the intangibles, the numbers that he's producing and the moments that he's producing are on another planet. And I think that it would be a shame to miss out on that. I think it would be an absolute shame to miss out on that. I do not see the intangibles. Delap's been really bad for the last couple months too, by the way. Really bad. Like shockingly poor for a couple of months. That is concerning. Yeah, Montato must be injured because he was supposed to be going on this tour. He must be injured. Must. Um, he has to be injured. He was supposed to go on this tour. Um, he should be there, but he must be injured. I don't know what else to say about it. So yeah, it must be something in that. Very, very strange. He pulled out of the Euros. No, he pulled out of the England team also. So it just must be an injury or something. I don't know what the issue is, but it must be that. Because he should have been ideally around the first team a bit more towards the end, and but it must be injury related or something, unfortunately. But we'll see. I'm sure he'll be able. We'll see him in July, hopefully. Hopefully, we'll see him in July. Regardless. But yeah, Cunha done. Striker, that's the situation. We should find out from Delap next week. Jokeres will want to be letting people know of his decisions after Sunday. Um, I don't know how Jokeres screams bust. He's doing numbers that nobody who has not been literally greats of the game have done. Literally, he's doing numbers that only the greats have done. Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Zlatan, like the numbers he is reaching, nobody has done except all-time great players. If it was like anyone could do it, then others would be doing it. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's 83 or something goals and assists in a 73 in a season. Are you kidding me? That's insane. Insane, insane. So the striker situation is there. Mateta still an option, as well that could be looked at. When you look at that, then we also want a third 10, a third forward, another 10, um, another 10 in there. They were absolutely not. Jardel and Hulk were absolutely not doing that. I mean, people are not really understanding the scope of these numbers, man. Like you're not getting the scope of it. When you say people were doing those kinds of numbers, first of all, here, let's look at Hulk, for example. 36, right? Very good. No doubt. First of all, that was back in 2010. 2010. Okay? 15 years. Comparing the leagues by then is whatever. That's like half. That's like half of what do you mean Jardel was doing it? Am I missing something here? What am I missing? Did I get the wrong Jardel or something? Um, but like that was Bastos was not even close, and he's not actually a bum. I mean, that's kind of the funny part. Bastos is not a it's not a bum. He did get 34 in the league at one point back in 2016, 38 total, which is pretty impressive. Not gonna lie. He was not a bum though. He never got a move. He was 27 years old at the time. He had a 20 goal assist season in Germany before that as well. He had 39 in the Dutch league, but he was pretty good. So we want Darwin Nunez hit about half, and it was one season. It was one season, and you have to also factor in Champions League. You have to factor in all of those performances too. How does it not concern you that the clubs way better than us, who also need a striker, don't want him? That's my one concern. I mean, does it matter? Clubs way better than us didn't sign Lenny Oro, and we got him. Madrid put it off, and we got him. You know. Um, the other thing I would say again that I just really want to point out with Jokeres is look at the trend from the championship through. This is not like something crazy. He's doing unheard of numbers and in the Champions League, but he's also been improving year over year over year over year over year consistently. If you look at these other ones, that's not the case. Arsenal does want him. Arteta doesn't. Um, Other clubs may want him, but you know, going for different targets, different money, different priorities. A lot of clubs have strikers. Newcastle has a striker. City have a striker. Um, it's just weird. I don't know, man. Like, why didn't nobody else try to buy João Neves? People, it's like, does that make him shit just because PSG got him? They have a tricky track record. Dembele was a flop, and now he's Ballon d'Or. Rafinha was leaving Leeds and people said, oh, he's shit. I mean, it's whatever. But we don't know. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Um, it's sort of an irrelevant point on it. So we'll see. So it doesn't matter to me. Those types of things don't really bother me at all. Um, so then the third forward, the right-sided 10, Brian Mbumo, um, Tyler Dibling, Antoine Semenyo. Now, if you move for Semenyo, I still feel Semenyo more strongly fits into the right wing back profile of player rather than the right 10. Um, um, yeah, but similar there. And the interesting thing is they're all like fairly proven, players, proven in the Premier League or proven, in Amarim's system before and things like that. Um, but that's the start of where we want to go. Um, and I think that that's really, really impressive. So, like, if we looked at what our targets wanted, now we can get that without even selling um, Bruno, right? Now, like here we can look like if we can do this, right? We'll just look at the starting 11 for a moment. Um, if we can do this, let's just say we can afford this with Alvaro or something. We sell Garnacho, we can get Mbumo. I guess the thing that's sort of a little bit odd when you look at the players, if you're going for Mbumo, then what happens to Bruno? Are you playing him deep all year? Because I think that would be a huge, huge mistake. Um, I mean, Ugarte and Bruno actually worked pretty well, but Ugarte hasn't been playing at the end of the season, so we don't know. Ederson Bruno would definitely not work. for me. That's an absolute no. Ederson is much more attacking. And I don't think you have the money to buy some big deep um, midfielder. I don't think he can be deep in the midfield. This is a lot of money to spend on a player who may not play there, you know? So I'm a little bit confused. I'm a little bit confused on that basis. If like you can have good players, I totally agree, but if you're going that big on like Mbumo, then don't think it works. I don't see how um I don't see how it works. That's kind of my biggest question at the moment. I'm again gonna run this out, and I think this is the direction of travel at the moment. Let's say you go for like, then we definitely need a keeper. There's just no doubt about that. We kind of don't know this yet. Um, do you do you not get Mbumo? Do you go for someone younger? Do you keep if you keeping Bruno here? Who are you putting here? Do you try to buy Dibbling as a young player? Now, I don't think you should be paying 80 million or something like that. But if you can get him for 40 to 50, would they want to do that? Because he's really highly admired as well. And do you just run with this? Is this what you do if you cannot get Dibbling? I don't know. Ahmad is is just so ineffective at right 10 in comparison to wingback. So ineffective comparably. These are the questions we don't quite have the answer to that we're going to find out tomorrow or the next day or in the next couple of days. Um, will Bruno stay or not? Um, we don't know. We don't know. And how does that change things? We just don't know yet. How it changes the whole setup, how it changes the whole structure of things. These are definite unknowns. It seems unlikely that Bruno would leave, but what I'm wondering here is, are we baiting out the European moves now? Because this is what I've wondered for a while. Like if we're looking at it and saying, "Oh yeah, he might be willing to go to be willing to leave, or he's considering it," is it going to bait out moves to Europe instead? Um, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I don't take stock much in the public talk over things in terms of indications on what people are going to do in their careers or things like that. It's you know it's dangerous to do so. Bayendir wrote a whole big letter about how he's going to be here next year. That's unlikely. Um, you never know. You know, 2 weeks ago, people were telling me that Amarim loves Garnacho. Well, I told you. 6 months ago, people said we were definitely not going to get a keeper. I told you. Like, you can't take too much stock in what is said publicly at any point in time. Like you say, like if we didn't have a report about Garnacho being kicked out, then people would be looking at him on the plane and saying he's with the team. he's staying for the long haul. You know, I don't think that's true. Well, obviously it's not true in the case of Garnacho, but it's a question because like if you were gonna start me off next season with what we're just able to get, I mean, what we're able to get without anything else, this is where we would be, in my opinion, for the right, like the best pairings, I think would be this way, um, which is still better, with another year under everybody's belt and all of that. Um, so the question becomes where we go from here. Do we buy a backup I understand what Emram said, but it kind of doesn't matter, you know? Like, you guys forget cicada? You know, like, it doesn't matter. People say shit. Everybody makes their decisions. This is the present if we can get a striker, Gyökeres or Delap, right? Um, then we just don't know yet based on Bruno. We need to know, is he staying for sure or not? Because we'll either be buying, a backup, or if he stays, we have to buy a starting 10, but then we don't have the money for a midfielder. You understand that? Like, if we just sell Garnacho and we buy Mbumo, we don't have the money for a midfielder. No, Hamza, no. We don't have the money for a midfielder. If you sell just Garnacho and buy like Mbumo for this, who we're interested in, there's no money for a midfielder. So what are you gonna do? Nobody with any relevance has said we're selling Ugarte. Unfortunately, no matter how much you want to cope on that, when somebody says it, then we'll talk about it. Nobody has said Ugarte's for sale. You do realize that. So you can make whatever up in your head that you want. Nobody has said that Ugarte's for sale. If you can link me somebody of any sort of relevance saying it, not people making it up because they don't like him, then we'll talk about it. But we need money. If you do this after selling Garnacho, we don't have the money to do a midfield. We don't have the money. I agree. If you move Bruno in here, you need a different. Well, maybe not. I mean, the pairing has worked. The pairing has worked. To be fair, we actually won 6 games out of like 10. Um, so it could work, but it's not ideal. I can say that for sure. Um, with 1 game a week, with the current situation, we could run it, but I don't like it. I don't think it's the right concept in terms of a pairing. Am I concerned Ugarte hasn't played recently? Not really. I mean, I don't care what happens this summer happens. I'm fine with us doing whatever in the summer, selling whoever, doing whatever. The season's over. I'm ready for whatever needs to happen. I'm not attached to anybody, bar probably like Lenny Oro and Dorgu in heaven. I don't really care. Have I discussed the Mbuemo link by Sully? Yeah, I've been talking about that. We've wanted 3 forwards, and Mbuemo is on the list as well. Yeah, I don't care. It's just, yeah, we don't have an answer yet. That's the unknown. This is where, because we didn't get Champions League, we have to wait and see. By selling Garnacho, um, by selling some other players, we could afford this, but we need to play, but we can't afford to rebuild the midfield. So I just don't see how. I don't think that's the plan unless we were going to run this team out, because we'd be out of money basically, barring other significant sales that would be hard to do. If we sold Bruno, then you can add to the midfield and it would make some sense. So I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. That's the question. That's our main question. So we'll kind of wrap it up there. I'm going to do some videos this week and we'll find out, because the unknowns right now, the next questions that need to be answered are: one, will Liam Delap choose United over anybody else? We don't know yet, but we should find out this week. Two, will Gyökeres be willing to join United? We should find out this week if there's anything in that still. Three, will Bruno Fernandes leave? These are all unknowns as of today. They are unknowns. We don't have the answers yet. But what we know is we want 3 forwards. So based on those answers, it's going to determine what we do in the market after the first 1 to 2, signings. Because then how do we afford a midfield to add to it? Can we get a keeper out? So it's in stages, but Cunha done. Striker, we'll find out Delap or Gyökeres this week, very likely. Then we'll find out on Bruno. Then we'll find out on the 10s. Then we'll find out in the midfield what we can do. So we're moving in stages, but I want them to be getting this done early. That's the most important thing to me. Get it done early. Get it done early. That's the most important. Get the signings we need in quick. Get it wrapped so we know what we're intending to do. Like all these questions, we can't be waiting until mid to late July to find out like we usually do. Obviously, a 10 and a striker early would tell us a lot. But at the same time, we need these other questions answered very, 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 very early on in the window so we know where we're going. Because if we get a 10, a striker in, and Bruno is settled, then we know we need to sell to buy other players. We know the next another forward is the next guy that we're buying, and at least we can focus on that point, and then a midfielder. So they got to be quick. We got to get answers to this. And yeah, goalkeeper will for sure happen. Goalkeeper will for sure happen. No, I'm not sure of anything about Ugarte, but I'm not also going to make things up that people want just to make them happy. A sell stream, yes. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to make a video on the book values remaining for all the players that are potentially being sold. And then we will, from there, I can go through and talk about where they're at, how much that might help us, what gain it might give us, what we can spend with that, and everything, and that would help us a lot. Yeah, I mean, look, Bruno in the pivot, I think works in games where we expect to be against a very, very deep block, but otherwise, it's a big risk, definitely a big risk, and then and all of that. So I'll do that. I'll make that video tomorrow. So hopefully that helps us figure out, helps understand where we're at. The Laurie article had something yeah, it said he had to struggle to adjust to the speed of the Premier League. That's normal. That's probably talking about the early months and things like that as well. That also could just be from Ten Hag. I mean, we could talk about that article briefly if you wanted, about some of the things in it. We could put that, we could talk about that for a second. I don't know what people are reacting so heavily to it. By the way, while we're here, 1,100 people here, 173 likes. Give me at least like 200-300. There's a lot of you here. Just click the like button while you're watching. But I genuinely wasn't sure when I saw the article and I read it. I'm genuinely unsure. What are people reacting to so heavily in that article that they feel is so negative? What is it? What's the issue? Because I didn't get it. I didn't get what was the issue. I didn't see what was like such a big deal. I mean, 90% of it we knew already. It's just like a summary of things that we've talked about in the past. I mean, one of the things that will be ignored by some people who are pushing an agenda is that it said it was Wilcox who had some concerns about how to rebuild the team of the 3 at the back, and that it would take some time to get there. People were trying to say, well, Ashworth knew. No, all Ashworth was doing was suggesting shitty English managers. nothing else. 150K a week on Delap. Yeah, we kind of knew that we had made that offer a little while ago. But yeah, I didn't really think there was anything in it of note. I mean, I think people are over analyzing some really um basic stuff, and like, I don't know. I mean, how is a good manager? Sure, but he's also at Newcastle. But I don't know. That one seems suspicious given that he and Ashworth didn't get along, according to their reporters. So I don't know about that one. Um, but like, I don't know. Marco Silva, Graham Potter, like whatever. But yeah, I really didn't see anything in the article that was concerning. It's like, it's just funny to me. Like, what's the big deal? It's a lot of normal stuff. There was something about Jim Ratcliffe coming in and talking to like the masseuses or whatever and asking them for to email them what they do and talking about how he stretches before. Like, have you ever worked in a business? Like, owners always do shit like that. It's just normal, like, oh, I'm working. Oh, there's the higher up executive walks down to yap about shit, to ask what people are doing, to get a finger on the pulse, to do these kinds of things. Whether they should or they shouldn't, they all do it. Every single one of them. Like, it's that, or I guess, you complain about them being involved, complain about them sitting in Florida not answering phone calls when you're trying to get transfers done. Like, I don't know. Dwayne, do you think Cask stays if Bruno stays or he goes? I don't think it's relevant to each other. I think that Casemiro will go if we find someone to take him. Yeah, the only thing new was Amarim going, but I think the thing is that with that meeting for sure is that he just wanted to be involved and make sure he's on the same page. I think he wanted to be able to tell them, you know, this is what I'm going to do with the squad. Probably talked about the Garnacho situation a bit, and a few other things. So, that part is interesting. The shooting, I don't know. There's quite a bit of narrative in there, to be fair to the journalists involved, because claiming that the shootout specialist helped us win shootouts, you can't prove that. You don't have any idea. I mean, we beat Arsenal in a shootout. Without them, I mean, it's like, uh, there was a few things where I was like, okay, that's a little bit negative. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Cunha, here we go. It's done. There we go. Boom. As expected, we're through. It's over. Um, there it is. Cunha, done. United have, here we go, verbal agreement in place between all parties. Cunha will sign until June 2030 with the option till 2031. Wolves to receive 62.5 million clause value in installments. Formal steps contract to be checked next week. Boom. May 25th, best left 10 in the league, joins Manchester United after a 15th place finish. We're just built different. We're just built different. It's United. That's it. It's 3:57. 3:57 my time on the 25th. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. You know what's crazy about this? Maybe I'll revise my thoughts later, but I genuinely think this guy is going to be the most impactful player we can sign this summer. Like, I don't know why I think that. Well, I do know why I think that, because, you know, he just he seems like a player who's ready to just to bust. Oh Lord, I'm ready to bust. You know what I mean? I might be the only account live for the Here We Go. I know it's 11 p.m. in the UK. Woo woo! It's me. I'm live. I'm here. Come join. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the tweet and everything in 1 second here. All right. All right. Here we go. Boom. Ah, amazing. Amazing stuff. Oh Lord. He finna Amazing. I am so happy. I am so happy. But no, seriously, I think that, yeah, update the title to get viewers. Good idea. Let me pop this over for a second. And then I'll have to make a video on Cunha tomorrow as well. Oh, good lord. Lots to do. I'll have to make that tonight probably. See, I don't know how to do YouTube, so like that's a good idea. You tell me update the title and I'm like, sweet. I didn't even know I could do that. Like the video, I just updated the title to Cunha done, all of that. So go for it. Like the video, do all of that. Smash a like for Cunha. Um, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. No, no, I did as well. Let me hop on over to Twitter though, real quick. Here we go. I can always hear it in Fabrizio's voice now whenever he tweets. Here, whenever he tweets. Like, can you guys hear it in Fabrizio's voice? Here we go. in his little Italian accent. Because I always can. Cunha. Cunha? Matthijs Cunha is here we go. But yeah, look, the nice part about this release clause is we get to play it in 3 installments. So we get to split it up a bit. That is really cool. And so, guys, Matthijs Cunha is here we go. It is done. Ineos Manchester United have presented. It starts to fade once I do like 5 words. Once I do like 3 words, it fades into a different accent and I can't keep it going, but I can do a few. I'm not mocking him. It's very fun to me. Jonathan Hammond, 1 out of done. Start of our rebuilding of our historic club. Yes, absolutely. Right after the game, too. Quick signings. Dwayne, there we go. I agree. Let's get the striker. Yes, it turns into Conte. It was better, right? The Italian is a little better. I've spent enough time around Italians being from Chicago to get it a little bit better. I've listened to Fabrizio enough time. Brazilian too. I got to tell you. Wait, quick question. Will Matthijs Cunha become the best Brazilian to have ever played for Manchester United when it's all said and done? Not like considering Casemiro, we're not counting his accomplishments at Madrid, right? At United, will Cunha become the best Brazilian to have ever played for this club? Right now, it's Fred. Honestly, maybe Casemiro. Will he? I think Cunha will. I know Anderson, Rafael, these are good players. I think Cunha will be better. The bar's not that high. Anderson is probably first. You're right, but the bar is not that high, Fred. I think I know he won titles, but what did he do? What did he do? I like Anderson and Rafael for sure, but I think that Cunha will become individually on his performances the best Brazilian that we've had. It's possible. It's possible. Fuck off with the Anthony shit. It's possible. We were so close to Ronaldinho. We were so close to Ronaldinho, man. We were so close. We were so close to Ronaldinho. We were so close. But look, when I look at Cunha, the reason why I think, oh, we could just it's like dark and stormy out here too, so even the light on my own computer blasts me like crazy. But the reason I think he's going to be so good is look at this, man. Look at how few touches the guy is getting in terms of receiving the ball. You give him the touches we've been giving to Garnacho, and it's like he's going to blow up, man. He's going to blow up. He's going to blow up. Which almost signing would we rewind back to? Me, it's Ronaldinho because he's like one of my favorite players of all time. If we had somehow gotten Ronaldinho, maybe my favorite player of all time who's not a United player is Ronaldinho. So to me, that's always the big one. The almost signing I wish we got is Ronaldinho. This is such a perfect signing. Like, there's so few times where I felt like you look at a team and you just go, oh yeah, that's the guy. That guy fits every single thing we want to do. But that's Cunha. He fits everything. He's exactly the right player. Same system, same league, all of that. Then we wouldn't have signed CR7. Maybe. I mean, obviously that changes the whole circumstances, but regardless of consequence, I'm saying Ronaldinho is my favorite player that we almost signed. Romano did a video. Updates on Onana and Garnacho. Both can leave. Says again, we're looking at Savage. Says plan. Okay, so keeper. Cunha, striker. If we get Cunha, a striker, and a keeper by July 1st, can you believe that? Imagine we have Cunha, a striker, and a keeper by June. It's like the biggest problem solved. The biggest possible problem solved in immediately. Like, come on, man. Dwayne, dribbler, kick and run, shooter. Yeah, give me that. Dribbler, kick and run. He's perfect. He's perfect. People will see. He's like a Garnacho if he could shoot, pass, or create chances for others. You know? It's wild. It's like we've been planning for this, though. Keeper. I like Vanya. He's big. He's tall. He's massive. He's fucking huge. I like Vanya. Garcia, it sounds like Barcelona. I'm guessing we won't be able to compete with Barcelona. I like the idea of Milinkovic. He's huge. He's a shot stopper. Big ass shot stopper. One of the best in the world. Emram a serious green flag on his eye for player. Well, fair enough. You don't like his system. But that's where I was saying, look, whether you do or you don't, I think he knows players. I really think he knows talent. I think he knows personality. I think he knows what he's doing on that front. But let's get this big ass Donnarumma sized goalkeeper in our net instead of a guy who's 6'2" but plays like he's 5'3" and whose arms are, shorter than Jordan Pickford's apparently. Let's get a big ass guy, okay? That's what I want. Stops shots, claims crosses. That's all I care about. And I think that's Vanya. That's the in that. Lamens is obviously like a high potential young player, but Vanya. Vanya for me is the one in that respect. Like if you would ask me what I would prefer, I would probably at the end say that. This is exciting. I cannot believe this is happening already. It's so early. It makes me very, very happy. Is this the difference between planning for a window and reacting once the window is started? I think so. Experienced 7-footer in goal. Give me that too. There you go, Dwayne. I'm with you there. Vanya. This is very exciting. I'm definitely old fashioned now in my goalkeeper view. Just get me someone who can save the ball. But the fact that Cunha will also be there all season. Oh my God. Did you guys hear that? Can you guys hear the thunder, the storm? I might lose power. If I do, I'll be gone. Nothing I can do about it, and I apologize in that case. We got a big, big old storm. Um, Big old storm here. Good deal, primary target. Just realize that we already know. We already know. Yeah, it was agreed a week ago. Yeah, we already know today that that we will only we will not have to watch Alejandro Garnacho run up and down that wing taking pot shots from 30 yards out next season. We're saved. We're saved. We are saved. That's very, very good to me. Vanya Sar, that's a good one. Vanya Sar, nice. Okay, I like that. We are saved. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He starts July 1. I really don't care. Yeah, a very strong storm here in Denver. Yeah, Juan, you're here, right? I feel like I've seen your name and you've said you're here in Denver. Yeah, it's a big one. We've been getting hail. We've been getting all sorts of shit. There's a lot of thunder. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Um, that it probably made me the angriest I've been this season while watching us play has probably been watching um has probably been watching Garnacho take pot shots from 25 yards out, over and over and over again. Now we'll see Cunha doing it. That's great, but he's got an amazing long shot on him, by the way. He's an incredible long shooter. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we got the here we go on Cunha. I've got a bunch of videos to make tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It's getting late. I gotta get to everything else in my life. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate you all. Um, First, here we go of the day, of the season, of the summer. The best signing so far for us, and maybe the best signing we will make this year already in the door in Matthias Cunha. Very exciting stuff. Have a good one, everybody. And thank you for all the donations. Thank you for all the joins. Thank you for all the memberships. Smash a like on the way out. Let's make sure we get as many as possible in here. I really appreciate you guys. I will be back with a whole bunch of stuff this week. We got a lot to do now. All right. See you later, everybody.